Kate, and today we are talking split squats. So setting up for your split squat can make a world of difference in how it feels and how effective it is. So things we want to think about: keeping the pelvis square facing the front. We also want to be thinking about and conscious of keeping our rib cage stacked over our pelvis as well, so we have a very stable trunk. Okay, so I like to step backwards to set up. So I'm going to get my heels right underneath my hips. Pelvis is going to be square facing forward, and then I'm going to take a nice step directly back so I don't cross over the midline or step too far to the outside. And then I'm going to double check that my pelvis is still square and facing forward. Oftentimes what happens is people will rotate and they'll get a little off balance, and then their pelvis is doing this wonky thing as they try and go up and down. Makes it miserable, right? So we're going to take the misery out of it and make it effective. We're going to keep the pelvis square. Think about headlights in those front of your pelvis bones facing forward in that direction that you want to be traveling. You're going to exhale a little bit. Tighten up this area between your ribs and your hips. And then, keeping your shoulders stacked over your hips, you're going to lower that back knee down towards the floor so you get kind of a nice 90-90 position. Ideally, our hips stay square to the front the entire time as we go up and down through that split squat movement. If you feel like something starts to happen, you start to dip or dive, I want you to, again, think about bringing that hip on the back leg forward, squaring it up, tightening up those obliques again, and then slowly lowering with control to make sure that you're controlling where that pelvis goes. All right, so from the front, we'll go on the other side, looks like so. I'm going to step and make sure that my hips are square to the front. Take that nice step directly back. Bring my shoulders back so they're stacked over my hips. Again, I'm going to double check to make sure that I didn't accidentally rotate. You can see what happens to both my legs when I do that. I'm going to bring that back to square. Front knee is driving straight with those toes. I'm going to exhale a little, get tight, and lower that back knee down towards the floor. Good. We're going to think about squeezing both glutes, pulling your glutes in tighter towards each other as you lower down and stand while maintaining that strong trunk alignment, okay? So you want to feel those waist muscles working. You want to know this is tight and active and supported. And last little quick detail that often will help people is if they start to feel a little rotated and they just can't quite control it, it can be helpful to rotate that heel slightly away from the midline of the body. And sometimes that can create that squareness of the pelvis that they weren't able to achieve with just thinking about where their hip was. So if you're trying to get straight and square and you're having trouble doing it, just kind of turn that heel out a little bit and see if it helps you out. So with those tips, that should help you get into a nice square split squat that feels good and works well for you.